So July marks the Nanoleaf 10th year anniversary, celebrating the rise of Nanoleaf from a Kickstarter to a global leader. So we say welcome to Jimmy Chu, who's the co-founder of the product, who's joining us today.
How's it going, Doc? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Now, this has been an absolutely massive journey for you as a CEO of a company, but also from Kickstarter to what it is now. Can you take us back to those original beginnings where you were coming up with the idea for Nanoleaf?
Yeah, Nanoleaf, it's been a crazy journey for us. Never did we think that we would get here today. But yeah, at the very beginning, it was founded by me and two of my good friends from university. So us three founders, we were all from the University of Toronto. We were part of the solar car team, and it was a group of students that built a car fully powered by solar, and it actually raced in Australia too. But this was decades ago. And after we graduated, we actually wanted to get together to develop some kind of products that could really help sustainability. So we actually started off with a solar product, but we didn't know how to ship lithium ion. Like boats won't take it, planes won't take it. So we're like, let's just keep building. So we created a really energy efficient light bulb to go with it. And that light bulb turned out to be, it was about 150 lumens per watt. And it was the world's most energy efficient light bulb. And we're like, wow, like everyone could use a light bulb. Let's try launching this on Kickstarter and see how it goes. And, it was just three of us. We had full-time jobs at the time. We were just doing this as a side project. And yeah, after we launched that project, it was an exhilarating 2 months. Like, we had our phone alerts on. So every time somebody backed us on Kickstarter, we'd get like a little cha-ching alert. And it was just, it was exciting just to see how many people actually supported us.
It's amazing to see that that's where it started from, and now every time you flick on a YouTube channel, you're seeing Nanoleaf products in the background of nearly every person talking back at you.
It's definitely one of the highlights. We call it like Nanoleaf in the wild. It's anytime we see, like sometimes we see like TV commercials with TV shows. There's I have friends that send me clips from all sorts of places, so it's definitely an honor. I never thought we'd get to this point in terms of scale.
Talking about that, sales in Australia in particular have doubled every year since 2018, which you must feel like this is amazing.
It definitely is amazing. Australia is an interesting market. It's sort of, people compare it a lot to Canada, where we're from. It's a pretty big space, but not the most amount of people. But yeah, on that half of the world, Australia is our biggest market. So it seems like you guys have a passion for well-designed lights. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, and also for it's interesting because I haven't always considered Australia to be always forward-thinking in smart home technology, but it really seems like we've turned a corner, and everyone's really embracing it now. So tell us a little bit about that and creating something for a smart home setup.
Yeah, Australia has been really interesting for us. I try and think why it's been so good. I think seasonally it's kind of similar to somewhere like Canada, where you guys have kind of colder winters, shorter hours in the winter. And typically people buy lighting in the winter. They don't typically think about lighting in the summertime. And overall, I think some of the benefit cases of easy to install, able to integrate with a lot of technologies, whatever we design here in North America actually transfers pretty well to the Australian market. And for us, in Australia, we're in some of the best retailers there. I know we did a launch a couple of years ago, probably about 2-3 years ago, with JB Hi-Fi, and from there we got into Bunnings and Officeworks and Harvey Norman, and it's been a great market for us. So thanks for the love from Australia.
It's so good. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is Nanoleaf obviously broke ground, became a leader, and were a first in the smart lighting scenario. But now you go into the stores and you're seeing other brands popping out with similar products to some point. What sets Nanoleaf apart from the other products that you're seeing on the shelves?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to like what we really believe in, right? So as a company, we really believe in pushing the boundaries on technology, and we're constantly doing this. So originally we were one of the first to come up with an Apple HomeKit bulb. We were second only to Philips, and this was when we were first starting off. But even beyond that, we really challenged like the notion of why light needs to come from a light bulb. And, like when we thought about that, we had come up with this idea of like, well, the best source of light that we have today is really the sky. When you're outside and fully engulfed in light, and, the sky, the light from the sun is being fully diffused by the atmosphere, it feels really natural. So how do we get that inside? How do we replace that light bulb with a surface of light? And so we came up with this idea of these light panels, and we made a triangle because it looks cooler than square. And that was kind of our way of pushing the boundaries, and it took us quite some time to do that. And now, it's been a few years, and it's with products, there's typically that life cycle where it's much quicker to copy someone and replicate it because you don't have to go through so many iterations, right? When you're trying to break ground in something, you have to do like, if you see all the iterations, all the prototypes that we did for the light panels before we got to that final spot, it was a lot of effort. And so, last year we launched the lines. And it was the same idea. It's like, how do we actually take that modular concept and create soft, fully diffused light? So we came up with the idea of, there's the concept of wall-washed light, right? If you think about wall sconces, they typically like project the light onto the wall and have the light reflect off so that it's basically the opposite effect of glare. You don't want that like, it blinds your eyes. So
that's right, yeah.
So with lines, you could see it's kind of like protruding off the wall and shooting light onto the wall to create that wall-washed effect. So even though there's a lot of copycats for our panel products, we're constantly innovating and pushing those boundaries so that, we could actually add value to this world. I believe that like as humans, we have this responsibility to keep pushing the boundaries of technology and not just like copy each other and make it cheaper and really you're not adding value to the world, right? So if we could continue to innovate, then we could continue to set ourselves apart. And, I could go into detail about, how our technology differs. Like we have all this cool layout detection stuff. How our stuff reacts to sound is very different. So I don't know if you see in the background, this is actually responding to my voice. And there's different scenes where you have different colors that reacts to different frequencies of sound. And, we put our heart and souls into this technology. Whereas, like, there's tons of companies out there that say, our lights react to music, but it's really just the amplitude of sound. What we did is we took, like, every aspect of that sound, broke it up into frequency buckets, and made it so that you could actually... like you could feel that music. It's especially evident when you listen to like someone with a lot of vocal range or like classical music. Like you'll be able to see like really cool stuff. But it's stuff that it's really ultimately as a company, like we really have a passion for pushing the boundaries of technology, and we're at the forefront of stuff like Thread, which is a new networking protocol. We're at the forefront of Matter. We're going to be one of the first to come out with something that supports Matter. We're working really closely with Apple and Google and Amazon and Samsung to release that. So these are some of the ways that, I think copycats are always going to exist. And really, it's about outpacing them in terms of innovation and creating better features for our customers.
I think that's one of the things that I love about the product is that the user gets so much control. And that's what you don't see in a lot of other products. Just having, the smartphone integration, but also the fact that they're touch panels, and they also have the controller on board, so you don't need to have your phone with you to be able to use them. So there's just all this thought that's gone into having the user at the forefront of the product, and it makes it more than just a light on the wall. It's an interactive piece of art.
Right. Yeah, I think that like part of the reason for our success is that kind of overlap between art and technology. right? So like one of our customers actually shared with me why he loved our products, and he was saying that the creative process starts when you actually bring it home and you think about, what design do you want to put on the wall, and then after you figure that out, usually people lay it out on their floor and play around with all these designs. After they figure it out, then they go into the app and it's just like, well, now what colors do I choose? What kind of effect do I want it to do? And, like there's like all these, like, it's kind of limitless possibilities with a product like this.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, like, there's a lot of details that really sets us apart from some of the other products that you might see on the market. But also it's just, like, I think it's always kind of flattering when, like, people are imitation is the best form of flattery. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just every company has different strategies, and ours is to look forward and continue to create cool stuff.
A little while ago, you came out with the Elements range, which is probably one of my favorite of the products. And the reason is because it allowed me to put technology into the other parts of my home that my wife usually bans technology from. Usually I get to keep it enclosed in this little room here. But it was interesting when I brought the Elements home. I said, let's set this up in the living area. And she was dead against it. And I sort of got them out of the pack and sort of showed her what she could do. And she started coming around. It wasn't until the mother-in-law came around and she said, that's like an art piece. You could put that up as like, that'll be amazing. And this is a woman who generally isn't into technology at all. And so that's how I got it across the line. Suddenly my wife was on board because her mother was.
No, that's fascinating. It's there's an audience that likes color changing stuff. And then there's a much broader audience that just doesn't. So the wooden products was an example of us trying to, well, again, we were trying to push the boundaries of technology, right? Like, when do you see wood lit up? Except in Avatar, right? Like, Avatar, I went to Disney World, and, like, I don't know if you've ever been there, but they have this area of Disney World that just looks like Avatar, and all the trees are lighting up, and it looks amazing. But yeah, I think with the Elements product, it's tailored towards that different aesthetic. The more sophisticated, the more, like, being the people that like that natural, the wood look, kind of decor. And usually it's a lot of natural wooden decor along with a little bit of green, right? A little bit of plants and life.
Yeah.
And so that was really the decor that we're going for, and it's been a great success for us. It's a great product.
One way I love to follow Nanoleaf as well is via your Instagram page, and it's probably not where everyone goes to immediately, but when I see it, I see all the different ideas that are coming out of people from all around the world in these beautiful images. Does it always surprise you when you see that stuff?
I think our customers are the most creative. Like, I sometimes I never imagined that they could look like that, and then they kind of there's a lot of gaming room ones, like the battle station setups, and they're pretty epic. So I saw one where, like, above his screen he has, like, tons of panels, then underneath his screen he has our lines product, and it was all symmetrical. And there was like 4 or 5 shots where every single shot there was a different color scheme. There's a different background on the computer. Yeah. And the entire room transforms just using light and color. And it was like, wow, this guy is amazing. Like, way better than anything that our marketing team does. Sorry, I shouldn't say this for our marketing team. but it's true, right? Like, like, these are the people that are super passionate about the products that we build. And, they're the reasons why we were able to continue to be a successful company. And so, like, it's almost like we have a responsibility to them to keep creating cool products that could make their environment really light up.
There was one I saw the other day, and I have to bring attention to it because it was just amazing. It was on the Instagram page, and it was these 2 fireballs on either side of the computer, I think. But it also had little bits of flame sitting away from the Nanoleaf. and they were the smaller triangles that you've put out. And I'm like, how have they done that? They've unattached it. And it wasn't until I zoomed in nice and close that I saw they'd use the link connectors, the longer ones. And it was like, wow, that's really clever. A really clever way of using that product that I hadn't thought of before.
Yeah, it's the creativity of some people out there. It's incredible. I think I remember when we first created one of the final prototypes of our triangular panels, and I put it up on my wall in my condo, and I just sat there and I was thinking, like, you have to experience what it feels like in this room. When you turn off all the lights and you put on a scene, the whole room comes alive because there's the movement of light and color, and it changes the way the shadows work. And then when it moves to stuff like sound, you feel like the entire room is dancing. And so you're not really just buying lights for your walls. You're actually changing the way your space feels. And
it's like that flicker of a flame from an open fire.
Yeah. And that is like, one color, one dynamic to it. With these panels, it creates that effect in so many ways, right? Because you could set your own colors, you could set your own speeds, you could set different movements and motions, and it's something that is very difficult to describe using either a video or using kind of marketing copy. It's like, how do you explain that to them unless they're actually in the room experiencing it? So it's for us, I think there's that was a big reason for our success was this product line, the light panels product line. It was I think it became I think the best products, it creates that word of mouth effect where every person that puts it up, the first thing they want to do is show their friends, like, hey, check out my lights, right? And like,
it is so true. Every time someone comes over, it's the first thing I show them, I think. What I love too about the designing with it, it makes me feel like I'm playing with like Lego. Like, so you've got like this Lego light system on your wall, and you can sort of manipulate it a bit here and there and make things that are just incredible out of it. The other thing you guys develop really well is the technology behind the smart lights, which is the app. And that's always under development as well. There's always updates coming out for it as well. There's using AR technology to be able to see the design on your wall before you even do it. That stuff is insane.
Yeah, our team, we love kind of groundbreaking technology. And like, as soon as, I think it was Apple that had come up with Apple's AR kit. And we're like, hey, how do we develop with that? And then we had some challenges where at the beginning they only wanted kind of flat surfaces, not vertical surfaces. But eventually they went beyond that. And then we implemented it for Android as well. And now, it's a really useful tool. I'm not sure how often people use it, but it's like, otherwise it's hard to visualize what it's going to look like on your wall, right? So with AR, you could actually like design something and see what it looks like. And I think, I'm personally really excited about the future of AR and VR. I got my Oculus headset right there.
Me too, right there.
Took a little bit of a tumble with the Meta stock, but that's okay. So I'm a believer in Zuckerberg.
Yeah, let's get behind. I love it. I think the Oculus is one of the greatest inventions of the last few years for sure.
It's got that potential. It's just hard to say whether, Facebook will be able to achieve what they're setting out to achieve.
The latest videos that they've been putting out look amazing, with the clarity of vision and stuff on them as well. Talking smart homes for a second. So where do you see Nanoleaf fitting into the future smart home? Obviously, at the moment, new homes being built are still using sort of old lighting technology. So is there a space for Nanoleaf in the future of new home builds?
Yeah, I think, just generally speaking, I think the future of lighting is going to be smart. And I don't think anyone will really argue that. I think we're still at the very early adopter stage of smart lighting. And my belief is that the value proposition of smart lighting just isn't strong enough yet. So when you think about smart lighting today, it's really, a light bulb that you control with your phone. People don't want to control their lights with their phone for the most part. There's some benefits to it, like,
Yeah.
you know, like you can lie in bed and you don't have to get out of bed. You can turn things off. You don't have to run around the house to turn off all the lights. You could schedule it, which is nice. And I think with voice assistants, it took it to another level where you could use your voice to control your lights. But really, that's just a glorified remote control for your lights. It's not really smart lights as I would envision. I think that smart lighting really needs to incorporate intelligence, true intelligence, and some level of automation, not just scheduling, right? Scheduling is
Yeah, right. So you walk into a room and the lights come on, and
yeah, and I think, you know, like I still remember the first time I walked into like one of those office conference rooms, and the lights just turn on automatically, and you get this feeling like, ooh, I didn't have to do that myself, right? And sometimes like, you know, you turn on the projector and the blinds automatically close, right? And that's, you know, those are little automations that were programmed in there. But at the point where smart home really incorporates a lot of that technology, that's when really you'll get that new benefit case where people are like, you know what, I want my lights and my house and my smart home to operate like that. And it's, you know, there's always the mom test, right? Like, at what point can I convince my mom to use smart lights throughout her house?
Exactly, yeah.
It's at the point where she doesn't have to speak to any voice assistant, and she doesn't need to whip out her phone and an app to be able to control it. And so a lot of the technology that we're developing is in that direction, but some of the foundational pieces that we need are things like Matter and Thread. And I would say right now we spent the last year or two just developing foundation in order to support that.
Yeah, sure. So, of course, the big 10-year anniversary. Congratulations. So exciting. What are the big plans for you and Nanoleaf for the 10-year anniversary?
The 10-year anniversary, we do have an internal celebration. We don't nearly celebrate enough, but we also are running a kind of a month-long campaign to actually celebrate our 10-year birthday. There's going to be some quite a few things planned from our marketing team. I think around communication, talking a little bit about our story, our journey. I never thought that we would get this far. I think there's a saying that Bill Gates had said, you know, people often overestimate what they could do in 1 year. I definitely do that. And underestimate what they could achieve in 10 years. And so, you know, now that we're hitting our 10-year anniversary, the question becomes, well, where are we going to be another 10 years from now? And that's really what excites me. It's just, you know, if people often underestimate what they can do in 10 years, maybe if we set our goals out to be something big and something very challenging and impactful to the world, we could potentially achieve that. And that's exciting. And I feel like, you know, me especially, my co-founders and the people on my team, we're really lucky to be in this position where whatever we dream up, we have the ability to actually put in resources to achieve. So, similar to Mark Zuckerberg, you know, he has this vision for the metaverse. He's one of the few people in the world that has the resources to be able to achieve that. Fingers crossed. We'll see if hopefully it's actually good for the planet too. I don't know. I don't know. That part, I don't know. I just think it's cool tech.
I think it's, I agree. I think it's amazing tech. And I think we can expect to see some Nanoleaf VR sets soon then.
No. No. We're very focused on smart homes, smart lighting, and you know, true intelligence around the smart home. I think that, you know, we don't have the resources to duke it out with Zuckerberg. Yeah, he's, you know, don't get me wrong.
Yet. I love you yet. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today, Jimmy. It's been so good talking to you. I love chatting with you guys because you're just so passionate about what you do and the earth and everything. It's so great. So congratulations on 10 years for Nanoleaf, and we hope to see so much more from you guys over the next 10 years.
Thanks a lot, Doc. It was great speaking with you as well.